Good morning. I know I look like the abdominal snowman, but it's because it is so cold. So I am hiking today to Clouds Rest. So if you watch this channel a lot, you know I've done quite a few videos on hikes to Clouds Rest, but they've always been early in the season or in summer. I've never actually done it in fall. So this is my first time doing it this late in the season. It's the 21st of October 2024, and to be honest, this probably is one of the last weeks that the road is open to get up here. So if you don't already know, Tiger Road is the continuation of Highway 120 in California, and it takes you basically over the high country to the east side of the Sierra and of Yosemite. So it's a seasonal road. It closes usually by late October, early November, and then reopens usually around late May, but obviously it does vary depending on the snowpack. So yeah, I love all the trails on this section of the park. It's one of my favourite areas to hike in. This is a 15-mile round trip to the best view of Yosemite in my opinion, which includes the amazing view of Half Dome, so that's why it's the best one. So if you are planning on doing the trail in the summer, make sure you hit subscribe and look through my playlists, because you'll see videos of the trail in the summer season and early in the season and late in the season, in that summer period. Last time I did it, there was loads of bugs and it was really hot, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to be today. As I said, it's late October, it's very cold. It will warm up hopefully to around 60 today, which would be quite nice, but right now it's below zero. It's so cold, so I'm just going to get started. Wow. Again, if you watch my previous videos, you'll see that in the summer this is actually a stream, and early in the season it's a river, and it's quite scary because it can go up to your thighs. And I've done it as well later in the summer where it's been up to like my calves or my knees, and it's mad that it's just a dry riverbed and there's no fording necessary. Also, another thing that I've noticed, I know I've only just started, but it is so quiet here today. Like normally there's a good amount of people on the trail. Like in the summer it's not unusual for there to be around 50 people at the summit of Clouds Rest, but yeah, it doesn't look like there's going to be many other people today. But I'm shivering because I'm so cold and I'm wearing shorts, which is so stupid. But I'm also camping here tonight in the park as well, which I'm really looking forward to because it'll probably be my last camping trip of the season. So anyway, I'll stop talking and I'll show you the trail. You come to this trail junction once you just cross over the river. And Tenaya Lake is just on this side, basically. It's right there, so it's just a short stroll, and then you'll be at the lake shore. But you want to continue on into the wilderness, and you'll see signs. Most of them will say Clouds Rest, but the first few you will see Sunrise HSE, which is the High Sierra Camp, and Half Dome. So here we go. So here is normally another stream, and you can just see on the rocks where there's a bit more colour because they've had moisture over them, and usually these big logs and rocks are what you use to ford the stream and get over to the other side of the trail. So I've just hit the 1 mile mark of the hike so far, and it's been pretty easy. I think when you have done something in a certain light, with, as I said, with like the water that was flowing that's no longer flowing, and little ponds and stuff like that, when that's not there, it's weird because it seems like a different place. It's so strange. But I have just passed a mile mark, and it's pretty much a walk in the forest. There's a lot of up and down, but nothing strenuous, just like slight grade up and slight grade down. There's some rocky sections, but predominantly there's quite a lot of shade, which is really beneficial in the summer. But it is very dry, and you can just see around me that the plants are all brown now. This trail is really good for spotting wildflowers in the early summer, but the penalty for that is the bugs are really bad. But this is at such a high elevation, so you are already stressed for oxygen and stuff, so it does make what is actually a really easy hike in sections feel a bit more difficult than it is. But yeah, there's been a couple of trail runners past me, and that's it so far. I've seen some squirrels, and again a lot of bird song, which is very typical in Yosemite. It's very rare that I come here and don't see and hear lots of birds. But going into the second mile, it seems quite flat right now, but because I know the trail, there will be a section where there is a bit of up, and it's actually only 2 real sections where you're really hiking uphill, and one will be coming up shortly, and then the second is the final ascent up to Cloud's Rest. So yeah. So I've just got to the base of what I sort of describe as like the mini mountain within the trail. So as I said, there's 2 sections that are really like steep uphill, but they're very short sections, and this is one of them. So I've been slowly climbing for the last half a mile, but now it's going to start getting a bit more intense, and there'll be a few switchbacks. But what's amazing is the views all around of the High Sierra. You start to get peaks, and it's really pretty. So yeah, I definitely recommend taking your time and soak it all in. Wow, so as I mentioned, this section of the trail really is the hardest part, in my opinion anyway. It's definitely doable, and it doesn't go on for too long, but it's pretty steep. But it's a gorgeous day, the skies are blue, the sun is out, I'm very warm all of a sudden. But yeah, really pretty. Also, I just want to say a shout out to Linjung and Jason. Watched my previous Cloud's Rest video, and I just met on the trail, so I'm glad to see the video helped you, and I hope you're having a great hike, And for those of you who are planning to do the hike, if you've got any questions, please feel free to comment down below. Be more than happy to help with your hiking plans. And here's the view behind me. And here's the view up ahead, all the way up there. So 2.5 miles into the hike, and I have completed the climb up here. Ooh, there's a message coming through, excuse me. So after you get to the plateau, after that ascent, you'll come to a trail junction. So the way that I've just come 2.5 miles to Tenaya Lake, which is the trailhead, and I'll show you up ahead. So you can see the trail kind of forks. It's really obvious if you're straight on that this is the way to go. But there is a trail junction here, and it's 2.5 miles to the Sunrise High Sierra camp. Now that's a seasonal camp in the backcountry. Very, very popular stop on things like the John Muir Trail, which I completed in 2016. You can also get up to Merced Lake, which is 12.5 miles, and Twomey Meadows, which is 12.5 miles. But I am going to be going straight on. So from here, there's a bit of down, a bit of up, a bit of flat, and then a bit of up. But it's 4.7 miles to the summit of Clouds Rest, 9.7 miles to the summit of Half Dome, and 13.2 miles to Yosemite Valley. Now, it's a really, really gorgeous area up here. This is the plateau that I'm at right now. So I always use this spot as the perfect place just to stop, because you just climbed so you've just climbed around 1,000 feet to get up to this plateau from that last section. So you deserve a break, and this is a perfect spot. There's loads of boulders, there's loads of like logs, it's just a really nice clearing in the forest. I've seen deer up here before as well, which is really cool. There's some chipmunks and squirrels running about the place. Now the last time I did this hike, it was so buggy I couldn't stop. Like, it was unbearable to stop. So I'm actually going to enjoy having a little break here today. In terms of clothes, what I've worn today, I said at the start of the video that my legs are really cold, but actually I'm really glad I wore shorts because I've warmed up quite a lot. I obviously took my down jacket off, and now I'm in a hoodie that I had underneath, and I am quite sweaty. I probably will take my hoodie off when I get to the top, and I'm in the sun like fully, but now that I've stopped, I've cooled down a little bit, and as that bit was quite intense, obviously I've sweated, but when it goes a little bit easier, I probably won't sweat as much. So I think I'm going to keep my hoodie on just for a little bit longer. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying the video so far. If you are, please like the video and comment below. It really helps for this video to pop up on more algorithms and stuff, which will help me to grow my channel a bit more. So I really appreciate that. And if you haven't already, please do subscribe. Once again, I really appreciate it. Lately I've started to try and break away from just having like candy bars and chips for snacks, and I've started to buy these like sports beans in REI. I bought these, and I really like these honey stinger waffles. Obviously this is not an ad or anything. I just had started buying them because I figured they were doing me a little bit of good. Do you use any like sports drinks and things like that. If you do, let me know what you recommend. We've all like merged into one, but they've been in my bag since my last hike, but they do give you a little boost, even if it's placebo. I also like to use these vitamin C emergency sachets. I even use them when I go to like Orlando, because you get so dehydrated in the heat. But they're really good for hiking, especially on the way back when you've not got as much water left and you're starting to dehydrate. It's really good to give yourself like a boost, I think. But yeah, let me know what you guys use. So I'm just descending down now from that plateau that I was at, so I've definitely warmed up. I think it is a little bit just because I've got so warm hiking, but I couldn't bear to keep my hoodie on any longer, so I'm braving it in a t-shirt, but I'll see how long this lasts. It's really sunny and there's lots of like fall colours, but there's still all the evergreen ponderosa pine trees, so a really scenic and pretty environment to be hiking in this morning. There's a few more people on the trail now, which is quite nice, because whilst it's nice to have solitude, it is nice to know that there are other people out there as well, just in case if you ever got into trouble or something. So yeah, but it's pretty much downhill when you come off that ridge, so it's almost as if like you go up, across and down, and whilst that might sound daunting, I mean, coming back, obviously this is an uphill section on the way back, but it's not as steep or as long as the way to get up here in the first place, so don't be too disheartened. You won't have to do the same intense up, though it does indeed go up. But yeah, I'll just pan the camera around for you so you can see this is the trail. It's really easy to follow, and there are these really cool like rocky outcrops where you can get some really nice views, and this is down into like another valley, I guess, that I'll be in for a time before I start to hike back up. But you can just see the sun is out, the blue skies and all the trees across all the granite. It's really pretty, and the trail comes around here and follows it through into this valley, and then there will be a lake a little bit further on as well. So this is actually the first body of water that I've encountered the whole trail today, which is quite unusual compared to the other times that I've done it. Now this is again another little stream that you normally would ford, but obviously that's not necessary today. In terms of drinking water, I mean, I personally would rather not filter this water. It looks really stagnant and stale, so yeah, personally I wouldn't. But if you are really desperate, I suppose there is a water source, and you can see where it's all dried up down there. And yeah, normally I'd be fording across rocks to get to this bit, but here I am. There is the cutest squirrel over here. Look at you with your lovely yellow belly. I'll try and get a little closer. I don't want to scare him away. Oh, I scared him away. Never mind. So I have made it here to the lake, which is a lot smaller than I remember, but I don't know if it's slightly just receded with the, you know, the heat of the summer and stuff. But it's so peaceful here. There's like not a sound other than like the odd plane that might fly way up in the distance overhead, or the odd bird that just chirps every now and again. It's really, really quiet. But yeah, definitely a source of water if you do need to filter water on the trail. And I would say this is reliable all the time. I mean, it's always been here now. This is, you know, the only clean water source, and it looks quite clean, the water as well. So I definitely would be happy to drink it if it was filtered. And this is exactly 3.5 miles into the hike. So about a mile from that plateau where I took my break. So it's really handy, even if you don't need it on the way there, potentially on the way back if it's a hot day and you need to get some water. It's really good that you know this is here. What's really interesting is I have got these rosy cheeks, but looking at the ground, it's really frosty. So obviously the temperature is not as warm as my body feels that it is, but I'm going to carry on. At this point you can sort of say you're give or take about halfway to the summit of Clouds Rest, which is quite nice. So again, another good spot if you need to take a break. But for now, I am going to carry on. And you can kind of see that the lake comes up to sort of this area in the summer. There you go. It's just a hint of fall colours with some reds amongst the trees. And I finally come across a flowing source of water. So I think it's coming from up here. Very shallow, but it's water. I know everybody is different, but when I filter water, I prefer to filter water from a running source of water. I just feel like it gives me a bit more peace of mind that it's clean and it's not got any like poo in it. But yeah, there's definitely a stream here. I can hear it over there now as well. You might be able to just see it just in this section here. So that's good to know. Chipmunk. So once you get past that little creek, there's a slight uphill for maybe 100 yards, and then it levels out, and I'm slowly climbing, but it is a very gentle ascent. And it's in the forest, but there's some little meadows, lots of chipmunks and stuff running around. And yeah, it's definitely harder than the last time I did it. But I think that's partly because I've not been hiking for a little while. It's been a month actually, which for me is quite a while, especially this time of year. I've been at sea level for a month. And yeah, it's also that time of year when the air is just a little bit cooler and thinner, so I'm not going to beat myself up too much. I'm still very much enjoying it. And breathe. So I've just come to another trail junction. I've shown this a few times on my channel, but very similar to the previous one. It's always straight on this trail. So it's very easy to read the sign that Cloud Rest is 2.5 miles up ahead. And then Merced Lake, the Valley, Half Dome, Nevada Falls this way, and 5.4 miles from the way I've just come to get back to Tenaya Lake. The thing with this hike is it's not actually a hard hike. There is uphill, but it's doable if you pace yourself. It's the length that's hard, you know? So I'm just gonna have a little bit of water and then press on the last 2.5 miles up to the summit. Just like the last trail junction, there's so many open spaces here, which is really cool for wildlife watching, and the trees are gorgeous. That actually looks like a sequoia tree, but I don't know that it is. If you know, comment below. And there's the first glimpse of Cloud Rest. The push up this ridgeline has been really tough today, but nevertheless it's gorgeous. And Cloud Rest is just on this side. And what's really nice about this section of the trail is because you can see the summit, it gives you that motivation to keep going. And the views really open up. You see so much of the surrounding Sierra. And again, you know, this is prime wildlife habitat. It wouldn't surprise me to see a black bear up here. I've not seen any bears in Yosemite this year, but I have seen 5 bears in Sequoia, and 11 bears in Yellowstone. So I'm not too stressed. Sometimes late in the season, if I've not had a good beer year, I get a bit deflated if I don't see them, but because I've seen so many this year, I am just happy to be here, and if I see one it's a bonus, but it certainly isn't the focus of the day. But yeah, this hike and this trail is lovely, and I'm surprised this late in the season how enjoyable it is actually. It's a shame that when Tiger Road closes, it closes so abruptly, because I feel like until that snow comes you could definitely enjoy this for longer. Right here on the trail is some poo. Now, if you are a regular on the channel here, you'll know I quite often show you any poo I see on the trails. And in the past I've seen bear poo and then seen a bear. That I am no poo expert, but I am going to surmise that poo belongs to either a bobcat or a coyote, because it's got the pointed tip, which I assumed was dog, but I might be getting confused. So if you know, or you have a thought as to whose poo that could be, let me know in the comments below. After a lovely plateau, you come to this climbing section, and I really am so unfit right now. It's taken all my breath, but it's so peaceful. Like it's so still and eerily calm. I've not had anyone pass me that has summited apart from those two trail runners, and I've overtaken about 3 people, so I don't think there's going to be many people at the top today. It's very quiet, but the trail, as you can see here, kind of follows through the trees, and then the trees get more spaced out, and then right up here I'll start to ascend the spine of Cloud's Rest, and looking back this way I'll get views of all of Tenaya Lake and the Sierra. So yeah, what a day. So I finally made it onto the spine, which is the best part of the hike. Well, apart from the view, obviously. And Tenaya Lake is just behind me, which is where I parked today, 7.5 miles away. You can actually see so much from here. So this is Mount Hoffman, just up here. Beyond this dome section here will be Tuolumne Meadows, which will be just behind this section. You've got Cathedral Pass over there, and you can even see the Tiger Road snaking through the domes over there. Now literally just beyond here you'll get an amazing view of Yosemite Valley and Half Dome, but I've got just a little ways to go just up this section. First glimpse of Half Dome. Wow. This never fails to surprise me at how awesome it is to be on the tipping point in the middle of the sky with the creek and the valley and the high Sierra the other way. Awesome. there is Half Dome. So you can see Yosemite Valley creaking through here. This is Snow Creek. Way over there you can see a dome, and that's Sentinel Dome. And then coming down, that would be Glacier Point, and then the Panorama Trail. And you can very faintly make out the Panorama Trail because you can see the trail cutting through this green section. And yeah, that then connects up to the Mist Trail, which does the Grand Loop hike. So if you haven't already checked that video out, you should watch that. That's here on the channel too. It fails to blow my mind up here. It's so cool, it's so awesome, and it's so worth it. It's taken me 3.5 hours to get up here, which is longer than normal, but I have filmed quite a lot as well, so I would say it probably would take most people between 3 and 4 to get to the top. And then it's a little quicker going back down. But I'm going to stop and have some lunch and soak in these views. Stayed up here for about 20 minutes or so, took some pictures, and I've just had my lunch and a little water, and I'm going to start the hike back. But yeah, it's one of these, I think this is one of those trails that if you have the time to do it, you should so do it, because it's just so worth it. It just really is insanely stunning, and it's worth the push to get up here. And this is looking down. Now this side is where the John Muir Trail is, and then we have the valley, Half Dome, out into the Sierra, and then way over there is Tenaya Lake. And I might be wrong, but I think this peak is Mount Star King. I might be wrong, but if it is, it's the highest peak in the park. And then Mount Hoffman, which is right there, that's the geographical centre of the park. So yeah, I won't film every step of the way back to the car, but obviously if there is anything to update you on, I will. But thank you for watching this far. Please do hit subscribe so you don't miss my future videos, and let me know your thoughts on Cloud's Rest in the comments below. And stay tuned just in case there is anything between here and the car. Welcome back to the car park. It took me 6 hours and 45 minutes. So good. On the way down I saw a family of grouse. There was loads of chipmunks. It was really, really good. So I really recommend you get out here when you can and hike up to Cloud's Rest from Tenaya Lake. As I said, the season's coming to an end, so you might find it's just that little bit too late if you can't get up here in the next couple of weeks. But hopefully they are going to have a really good winter with lots of snow, and I'll be back next year up on this trail. But in the meantime, I've got loads of plans to come to Yosemite and other national parks over the winter season, so stay tuned for more from me. But thanks for watching. I'll see you soon.